Hello guys, my name is 711 and I have a very exciting announcement. The Pokemon Battle Association Season 5 has begun. And so I am pumped. I can't wait to tell you guys all the Pokemon that I got. This is going to be an exciting season and I have my sights high. I believe that I did draft a team that could potentially take us to the finals, and we will see what goes on from there. Now, before I tell you what I drafted, it's going to be kind of different. Usually, what we do is we have a tier 1, tier 2, two tier 3s, a tier 4, a tier 5, a mega, and then 4 free picks that we can spend 400 points, and there's a whole system there. But unfortunately, not all of the Mega Evolutions were released so far. And so I think only 20 are released, and out of those 20, only 15 of them are illegal in the PBA. Like Mega Metagross is not legal in Mega Salamence, Mega Gengar, Mega Kangaskhan, and Mega Lucario. Those 5 are not legal, but they are released. I mean, they are obtainable. But the rest of the Megas are not released, and so that was a real drag. And so what we're going to do, instead of picking a Mega, we're going to have 2 tier 4 Pokemon instead of just 1 tier 4. And then everyone gets another 80 points to spend in the draft. So it's now what we're doing is a tier 1, a tier 2, 2 tier 3s, 2 tier 4s, a tier 5, then 4 free picks that total to 180 points, no more than that. So, I would like to introduce my roster, and this is not in the order that I drafted because I don't remember the order that I drafted, but it is more or less down that line that that I described. So first, I would like to introduce which did happen to be my first round pick, Necrozma, Bronson the Necrozma. So there are a lot of reasons why I picked it, because I forget what its ability is, but it works like Filter. So a super effective hit is now only 75% of that actual power. It does 25% less if it's a super effective hit. So that means that a super effective non-stab move is just as strong as a stab neutral move. So Bronson is going to be very useful. It's a very bulky Pokemon. It is very offensive. It can literally set up all of its stats. It has Rock Polish and Autotomize to boost its speed. It has Calm Mind to boost its special attack and special defense. It gets Iron Defense to boost its physical defense. And it gets Sword Stance to boost its attack. Which means that stored power can really destroy things. Really hurt a lot of things. And it also gets some recovery in Morning Sun and Moonlight. Both of them have base 5 PP, so that's not real great, but hopefully I can make it work. And not to mention that Bronson gets a fair amount of move coverage. Psyshock and Psychic. I don't have a list in front of me, actually. But I know that it gets Dark Pulse, Shadow Ball, so hopefully you never know what's going to happen. Oh, and this thing gets Stealth Rock, so that is also very nice. So Bronson, you are going to do a lot for my team. I can just feel it, but I'm going to put you in the corner right there so that we can introduce my next pick, Demon, the Clefable. Now, everybody hates going up against a Clefable because, it's so bulky that you would have to set up on it. Well, if it has Unaware, then all that setup doesn't matter. Well, what if Clefable Oh, what if you want to Toxic the Clefable and just wear it down? Well, it could have Magic Guard. You really never know what ability that it has. I think it also has Q-Charm, but I may or may not ever run Q-Charm. But I'm running Demon, the Clefable. Hopefully, she will put in a lot of work. Also another Stealth Rock user, also another bulky Pokemon, also can set up, and to top it all off, it's also a Fairy type. And so a bulky Fairy who can be offensive is really, really great in competitive format, and so I hope to use Clefable a lot. So let me put it up there so that I can introduce a Tier 2 Pokemon, and I picked Magnezone, and I am nicknaming Magnezone Tesla. Tesla the Magnezone. Now this Pokemon is very, very bulky, very, very offensive, another fairly slow Pokemon, so that's not all that great, but I mean, as a special attacker, it can pack a punch with hidden power, and it's a slow Volt Switcher, so if an opponent did not draft a ground type, then Tesla just has fun. So that's exciting. Tesla also gets Sturdy and Magnet Pull, which are both very good abilities, and I may even run Analytic to see if I can really, really nuke a Pokemon like that. So I'm sure that Tesla's going to put in a lot of work, and so let me move Tesla up here. Come on. Okay. And let me introduce now Goodra. Goodra that I named Doomeddra. So Doomeddra is returning to the Pittsburgh Thunderbolts. My team, the Pittsburgh Thunderbolts. Goodra did very well in Season 3, the first season that I was there. You guys know that this Pokemon has some speed control in Gooey. Any physical hit that Goodra will take will slow down that attacking Pokemon. So I can hit something, and that Pokemon is slowed down, and then I can hopefully hit it again. Unfortunately, it does not get a lot of recovery aside from rest, but you guys know that Doomeddra is a very, very specially bulky Pokemon, and gets crazy, crazy move pool. It gets stuff like Thunderbolt, Ice Beam, Flamethrower. It gets Sludge Wave. It gets Draco Meteor and Dragon Pulse. On the physical side, which can be viable at base 100, I believe, it gets Power Whip. It gets Dragon Tail. I'm just doing all this off of memory. I don't have a list in front of me. Goodra can't... Oh, and it gets the elemental punches. I know it gets Fire Punch, Thunder Punch, so that's exciting. It gets Outrage, and Doomeddra is also a Grass Immunity if I want, with Sap Sipper, and it gets Hydration, so if I want to set up the rain, and lots of Pokemon can set up the rain for Doomeddra, I can run Rest Hydration and proceed to attack from there. So I can't wait to use Doomeddra. That's going to be super, super exciting. And next, I have another Pokemon returning to the Pittsburgh Thunderbolts from Season 3, Heracross, and I am naming you Hercules. Hercules the Heracross. We know that Hercules is power. I think it's base 125 attack, base 85 speed, so it's a great Scarfer, especially with Moxie. If you want to Will-O-Wisp me, that's fine, because I could be Guts, or I could be Swarm. So, Hercules is very, very powerful. I do have a knockoff user. Demon also gets knockoff, but Hercules gets knockoff. It gets Stone Edge, it gets Earthquake, it gets Close Combat, it gets Mega Horn, It gets Facade, of course, if I want to run that set. So Hercules is power, brute force. And so hopefully I get to use Hercules a lot this season. One big problem with Hercules is that it is 4 times weak to flying, but fortunately Tesla resists it, and most flying type moves are, yeah, they're physical, aside from like Air Slash. So, Hercules, oh, you just barely fit. I'm gonna put you right there. And so, those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are 5 Pokemon that I have drafted. Another Pokemon that I have drafted is returning to Pittsburgh from the Uber's Pokémon Association, the Star, Heliolisk. And, of course, I name my Heliolisk's Solar Panel. So Heliolisk, Solar Panel, the Heliolisk, you guys know that this is finally a Pokemon with speed. This is another special attacker. Yes, I know I have 2 electric types now, but they are very good at different things. Tesla is very great at taking a hit and then nuking something. Solar Panel is more cutthroat in its speed and power. So Solar Panel gets it gets Thunderbolt, it gets Volt Switch and U-Turn. Volt Switch and U-Turn. It gets Surf, it gets Dark Pulse, it gets Hyper Voice, it gets Hidden Power. So there are lots and lots of options with Solar Panel. And so I am going to move Solar Panel over here as we will introduce our next guest. And our next guest is kind of unexpected. I mean, Tesla and Doomeddra and Solar Panel kind of go well with it, but it's a Pokemon that I've never used before in League format. In fact, it's a Pokemon that I've never seen used in League format before. But thanks to its buff in Generation 7, I decided to pick up, relatively early in the draft, I decided to pick up Pelipper. And I am nicknaming you Mailman. Mailman the Pelipper goes all the way back from Mystery Dungeon games. The Mystery Dungeon games, Pelippers delivered the mail with their large beaks, and so Mailman, of course, gets Drizzle, and it also gets Tailwind, and it gets 100% accurate Hurricanes, which are stab and are special. So Mailman can hopefully put in a lot of work in that regard. And then next, I drafted a very interesting Pokemon, and that Pokemon does go well with the rain. Kabutops, nickname Edward. Edward the Kabutops. I'm going to go a little early, and I'm going to put Kabutops over here right beside Mailman, because this thing is very, very scary in the rain. At base 80, which can be doubled in the rain thanks to Swift Swim, it can be really, really powerful. And Waterfall is going to be strong, and Stone Edge is always strong. Another knockoff user. Unfortunately, it does not get Earthquake, but it does get some other great moves, and I'm excited to use Edward. Hopefully, Edward can be used as a late game sweep later on. So we are coming down the home stretch. There are currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 Pokemon on the field that I drafted. 3 more to go. And I drafted a Quagsire. And I'm naming you Derp. Now, Derp the Quagsire, I understand that I have 3 water types right now. And that's not great. Well, grass and electricity are going to really cause some problems. Thankfully, Derp is completely immune to electricity. Thankfully, Doomeddra is completely immune to grass. Thankfully, Solar Panels is fully immune to water and dry skin ability. Demon is completely resistant to dragon type moves, so I have a lot of full immunities on my team, and I needed another, or not another, but I needed a ground type. Ground types are pretty good, and most of the good ground types are gone at this point, and I picked up Derp, and a couple reasons for that. First of all, Derp also gets unaware, and so if Fable does not seem like a great matchup, then I can bring Derp, and it can also do unaware. Also, Derp gets water absorb, and so that can be very, very helpful. So I'm going to put Derp right over here.
And actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. I did not find this out very well. I'm going to put Bronson a little bit lower. I'm going to put Demon with Fable a little like this. And then Tails over Magnezone can move over like this. And Doomeddra the Doomeddra can go like this. Hercules the Hercules can go like this. And I'm actually going to move Derp, the Quags. No, I'll move Mailman. I'll move Mailman. Where are you? There you are. I'll move you up like that. And Kabutops and Derp. I can move you over here.
There we go. That's better. I'm sorry about all that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, only 2 Pokemon left, and I decided I'm going to announce the Pokemon that I picked last, and I'm very, very surprised that this Pokemon came to me. I picked Ditto, and I'm going to name you Xerox the Ditto. Now, Xerox the Ditto is a very interesting pick because, as you guys know, with a Choice Scarf, Xerox can be very, very threatening. If a Pokemon sets up, and then I come in with a Choice Scarf and I'm faster, I can sweep, in the right circumstances. So, Xerox the Ditto can put in a lot of work. May not always do Choice Scarf, but we'll see what happens. And I'm going to put you right there. And now finally, there are 10 Pokemon here, and I drafted 11, and returning to Pittsburgh from Season 4 is the Pokemon that got me to the playoffs in the first place. If any of you can guess it, you probably can. It is Smeargle. And I'm naming you Pierre the Smeargle. So Pierre, I'm looking at you, Pierre. You are going to put in so much work. It's going to be crazy, okay? Pierre the Ditto, I'm sorry, I was looking at Ditto. Pierre the Smeargle. You don't necessarily have to set up and baton pass like everyone thinks you're going to do. You could also set up the rain. You could also set up sticky webs. You could also set up screens. You can also get priority moves. You can set up terrains. So what I'm saying here, guys, is that Pierre can put in a lot of work, and you just never know. You literally never know what Pierre is going to do, but expect trouble. Just expect trouble from Pierre. That's all I'm gonna say right now. However, for this new season, there are some rules. I don't know them off the top of my head, but you can't baton pass like a whole ton of stats anymore. I think Moody might be banned, ? But I'm definitely going to look into that whenever it's, time to team prep. So, that is my roster. Bronson the Necrozma, Demon the Clefable, Tesla the Magnezone, Doomeddra the Goodra, Hercules the Heracross, Mailman the Pelipper, Solar Panel the Heliolisk, Xerox the Ditto, Pierre the Smeargle, Derp the Quagsire, and Edward the Kabutops. Overall, looking at this team, I don't have a whole ton of speed unless I set up. Edward could outspeed some things if there is rain. Hercules could outspeed some things if there's a choice scarf on it. Xerox could also outspeed things. The only Pokemon here that can outspeed things without setting up or without an item is Solar Panel the Heliolisk, and that's not all that bad. So overall, yeah, my team is kind of slow, but I can definitely work around that. I noticed that in the past seasons, I don't really draft a whole lot of bulk, but Bronson is pretty bulky, Demon is pretty bulky, Desla and Doomeddra are pretty bulky, Derp is pretty bulky. So that's pretty great. In Pierre gets all the hazards: Sticky Web, Stealth Rock, Spikes, and Toxic Spikes. Derp gets Stealth Rock. Edward gets Stealth Rock. Demon and Bronson all get Stealth Rock. And so all of that can really rack up later on. And so that is my team, guys. So let me know in the comments section what you think of my team. I like this team, and I think that I can go far. And so if you are excited for more Pokemon Battle Association content, then hit that like button, comment down below, share this video with your friends, click subscribe if you haven't already. And on that note, guys, I will see you all later. Peace.